Good morning. Hi. Okay, so story time of one of my travel. We went to Europe. We went for a little more than 2 weeks and got our luggage stolen going from Amsterdam to Germany. We were on the train. It was early in the morning. In my defense, my husband goes to the restroom, so the responsibility was on me. And all I can remember is that I was just watching a series. I remember making a stop. There was people getting on at that stop. And I could just now that I think about it, I do remember feeling like, oh, it's a bunch of people. But I was just so comfortable. I was just so comfortable with the trip that by this time we had already taken a bunch of trains. So finally my husband sits back down and then the train starts moving. I have an AirTag on my backpack, so then my phone alerts me, hey, your backpack was left behind. Well, I tell my husband, hey,
where's the bags?
He starts freaking out. Train people are not helpful at all. They're just like, you need to call the police, whatever. We get off. By the time we get to the police, because the train police apparently couldn't do anything, so we have to go to the actual police of the actual city. By the time we get there, we walk, whatever, my backpack was already coming back. So I thought, okay, maybe they looked through the bags. They saw that there's nothing of value there, only our passports, because they were in my husband's bag, and they put them back, right? So the cop goes, yeah, I would just suggest for you guys to go try to find the bags, because if you cancel your passport and then you find it, you can't use it. So the only thing you can do to get back home is go to the embassy, make an appointment, or request a temporary passport to pretty much just go home. So we decide to just wait for my bag or try to find my bag. Thankfully we had our cords and the adapters and stuff like that to charge our phones. So we go to Starbucks and then we charge our phones for a while. By that time my backpack just stopped. It was about 2 hours away. Then it appeared on the Lost and Found website that they have, because apparently once the train just stops and at the end of the stop, that's when they look it up. They put it on the website. You can try to find it. And it's 2 hours away. I was in tears. I kept crying and crying because it was my fault. It was my responsibility. I was left with them, so it was my fault. We get there. Mind you that the passports were in my husband's backpack. We found my backpack. But when we get there, the thief put the passports from my husband's backpack into my backpack. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that weird? They put back all of the souvenirs except my husband had gotten patches every place that we had gone. And they took the one from London, I think. That's it. They put back his homemade Game Boy. I don't know, but we got our passports. They did take my husband's bag, which had most of his underwear and PJs. My husband's so sweet. If you're watching this, chulo, precioso, hermoso. He was like, oh, I'm so glad it was my bag, not yours. I wouldn't have heard the end of it. It would have been a tad bit more dramatic if it would have been mine, which he's right. I would have died. I recommend that you listen to their advice to look after your luggage in every stop. Also carry your passports on you all the time, because when we were at the police station, you cannot believe how many people had the same story. Oh, we were eating and they stole my wife's bag. It happens a lot. And then the train situation, the people, they're just not helpful at all. At least not with us. Because in Japan, we forgot a bag, which now that I think about it, might be the universe is trying to tell us something. We forgot our bag there and we got a bag in less than 2 hours. No problem. They were because they clean the trains every single time. They only have a couple minutes. They go in, they clean up everything, and then they tag everything. But we weren't in Japan. We were in the Netherlands. Hopefully this video helps somebody out there. Stay tuned for another story time.